Hey there, this is Teagarden with episode 26 of the Unveiled podcast. And episode 26 means I'm so excited that half a year of weekly episodes are done. What a great beginning. I hope that you've been finding them practical and empowering. And as always, if you have a question or a topic you'd like me to cover, just put it in the comments or email me at Anne, at synergiamm.com. Well, this week I'm wrapping up the Letting Go series. There's probably a lot of other things that we could let go of, but hopefully these have been helpful. And today's topic is letting go of blame. It's quitting the blame game and realizing that we really don't need to lay blame on anyone when stuff happens. No shame, no blame. That'll be our motto. When Grant and I lived in our last house, we had a master bathroom with one sink. And I often would come in the bathroom to find water like all over the sink, puddling around the faucet. And I would think, how does he get water all over the place? And then I'd wipe it up. One time I mentioned it to him and he said he didn't think he was getting water all over. Well, whatever he was doing, he didn't realize it. So I let it go and I just wiped it up whenever I was in there. But, in my mind, I was always blaming him and wondering how he was doing that. This went on for years. Well, fast forward to moving into our new house and we now have 2 sinks in our master bathroom. And we each get our own sink, and the weirdest thing happened. There was water all around my faucet, but not his. Wait a minute, you mean all those years I was the one making a mess with the water and blaming it on my husband? Oops. That was really embarrassing, and I was thankful that I hadn't nagged him about it too much since really I was the one to blame. Sometimes we really are the one to blame, even though we don't realize it. Have you ever said, who left the milk out? Oh, yeah, that was me. Or who put a dirty bowl in the clean dishwasher? Oh, yeah, that was me too. Why even ask in the first place? Does it really matter? I could just take care of it. By asking who, I'm trying to lay blame on someone. And it's just not necessary, and it doesn't make anyone feel good. I also have a habit of blaming others for my mistakes or shortcomings, I guess so I feel better about myself. That reminds me of a story of a woman who went to a counselor and was complaining. She said, I don't want to get married. I'm educated, independent, and self-sufficient. I don't need a husband. But my parents are asking me to get married. What do I do? Well, the counselor replied, you undoubtedly will achieve great things in life, but some things inevitably will not go the way you want. Some things will go wrong. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes your plans won't work out. Sometimes your wishes will not be fulfilled. Then who will you blame? Will you blame yourself? No, stated the woman emphatically. Well, the counselor replied, there's a good reason for a husband. Blame him. We do that sometimes, right? Unfortunately, I've said to my husband, I couldn't find that thing because you put it in the wrong place, with a real accusatory tone. Maybe he did put it in the wrong place, but do I need to place the blame on him? Or I made that mistake because you got me confused or you didn't explain it well. I guess I just hate being wrong. Even my children often get the blame for making us late or making me frustrated, but it's not helpful. Do you ever do that? It seems like we are often looking for someone to blame. But when we blame others, it doesn't change the fact that we had a part to play in whatever happened. What it does do is harm our relationship. It makes the other person feel unloved, inadequate, defensive. Even when they are partly or all to blame, do we need to highlight it and accuse them? I think protecting the hearts of those we love should be our highest priority, rather than protecting our own reputation. As I like to say, perfection is overrated anyway. For years, I blamed my children and my husband for my anger, my bad mood, my exhaustion, my frustration, etc. I would often say, you're driving me crazy. When I did that, I actually gave them power over me. I am saying that they have the power to control my emotions and subsequent actions. But do they? I even blamed my genetic heritage for my anger. But one day, God showed me through other women teachers that I could not blame my heritage. I could not blame other people. I alone am responsible for my thoughts, feelings, and actions. And this radically changed me. Once I claimed responsibility for those things, I had power to change them. Instead of blaming my child for making me frustrated and irritated, I realized I have a choice. I didn't have to respond to them with frustration and anger. I could take a deep breath and choose to respond with patience or calm discipline. Grant and I went to a marriage conference a few weeks ago, and one of the speakers had volunteers come up and each held a hula hoop around their body. He called it the circle of responsibility. Inside it are our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and we alone are responsible for them. To blame others is to try to give away that responsibility to them. But the converse is actually quite freeing. We are not responsible for other people's thoughts, emotions, and actions. That is their circle of responsibility. They may try to blame us, but we're not really responsible for those aspects. So, we shouldn't take that on. When I screw up, I need to own it. No shame, no blame. When I think others screw up, I need to have mercy. And I might be wrong. In any event, no shame, no blame. When problems arise, rather than trying to figure out who is at fault, I need to focus on solutions and admitting my part in creating the problem. I believe most problems are co-created. And again, no shame, no blame. The very first sin recorded was Eve disobeying God. But what followed right after that was Adam blaming Eve and Eve blaming the serpent. All three were at fault and all were held accountable. It's really okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. And it's good to own them and ask forgiveness if necessary. The Bible promises us in 1 John 1:9, if we confess our sins, He is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. There may still be consequences for our sin or our mistakes, but our conscience and our hearts can be freed through confession and claiming responsibility. We can take action to make things right. We can learn. And most of all, we can preserve our relationships. Jesus has already paid for all of it. No shame, no blame. Now, don't get me wrong. I still get frustrated with people. I have this week. But I'm learning to own that feeling and remember that my thoughts, feelings, and actions are my responsibility. It's hard, but every time I improve and quit the blame game, it's like watering the relationship. So this week, try to catch yourself saying things like, you make me so mad, or he makes me so angry. Remind yourself, I am responsible for my thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's a choice. It's my circle of responsibility. And when you find yourself arguing over who is at fault, simply stop. Say, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. Let's just focus on a solution. My sister likes to describe it as a tug of war. When you feel yourself in that sort of argument, drop your end of the rope. We know that tug of war usually ends up with both sides staying in the same place and completely exhausted in the end. The winner ends up being whoever lasts longer. But really, if you think about it, there is no winner. Everyone ends up in heaps on the ground. So stop the blame game. Stop the tug of war. Be mature and own the problem. Then, and only then, will you be empowered to solve it. Well, that wraps up our Letting Go series. I think you will find freedom and more ability to soar through life as you let go of self-doubt, complaining, ideal plans, the past, being right, self-pity, being offended, and blaming. If you found these helpful, please share them with a friend and write a comment. Remember, you are loved. You are never alone. You are beautiful, and you can soar on eagle's wings. Go in peace.